All right, morning of day 2, and it's really quiet this morning. I think we've blown all the elk out. I don't know, we're back in the same spot, well, same-ish spot, but I think our plan is to get to a spot, call, and just sit for an hour, and see if anything comes in. Curious George, maybe, but it's a real nice morning, super calm. So, downsloping wind, we're heading into it, so got the wind in our favor. Hopefully it works out.
A little while later, Brian hits another bugle, and an elk responds with a chuckle. I turn the camera on just in time to hear him give us a bugle back as well. So Brian takes off to get a little bit closer. Brian initiates a raking sequence, and I let him know that, hey, I'll do that so you can stay still up front. Brian gives me the signal to hit a bugle. While we're standing there, we see the elk move at about 100, 125 yards left to right. So we head in that direction, and we're trying to catch up to it as it pops over this little ridge. We're hoping to be able to call them and entice them back in.
He was walking, I thought he was kind of moving with a purpose, not smooth, but just saying he wanted to be somewhere. I thought he was going to circle to our left, but he circled to the right. We could not get back in contact with him. But when they go quiet, usually it's because they're going to circle and try and catch your wind. Well, that's what I've been told. And that's kind of what I've experienced. That was an exciting morning, though.
That was a fun morning. And we saw.
Did you see antlers?
I did not see him.
I have yet to see the head of a elk yet.
No, I just saw his body going.
With the exception of that cow that I blew at 40 yards.
Yeah, I saw her head pretty good.
I could see her teeth. I could count them. She was so close. Alright. I say we sit for, make a call, and then sit for a half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah. Up in here, it seems like it'd be a pretty good spot, maybe. Right over there. Let's see where we got a little.
360 degrees.
Maybe there's a rub right there.
Rub there.
I just want to be in a place where we can grab a bow and draw if we need to.
So in this spot, we have
Nothing doing, so we're out trying to cover some ground.
As uneventful as that was, that's been the rest of the day so far.
Came across this ground blind out here. We actually ended up coming across several ground blinds out there. Trying to find a little water, and this mud hole is pretty dry. Brian's pretty excited about finding this shed, and it's a very short 5-point.
We're trying to find water to set up for the last few hours of the day because it's very, very dry over here. There's no real water to speak of, and my green area was a bust. Brian checked that one over there, it was a bust. So no water yet. I think that'll be a good money maker if we can find some water.
The last spot we checked, we found water. It is not much, but it is water. So we're going to sit it the last few hours of the day. Practice draw here from Brian. All of a sudden this duck popped out of the grass. I did not expect this on this tiny little water hole at 10,000 feet. Good ways into our sit, she got loud, and this persisted for at least 90 minutes. So I look over at Brian, I see his body language change, I can tell something is coming. I can hear it and I turn on the camera, but I can't see it through the tree, but I got it here in the left-hand corner of the screen. I didn't realize they were on camera until I was editing this video. If we're sitting at 6 o'clock, they came in at 12 o'clock, and they're coming around 11, 10, 9. At this point, I'm expecting her to fall over, but then I kind of get a good look and I zoom in with the camera a little bit and I can see that I don't see any blood on her offside. And Brian has no idea right now that she's standing right there. There's 2 pine trees between him and her. The one I'm looking through and the one she's just behind on the far side. So he comes up and comes over to me, not realizing that she's still standing there. And you can see when she turns around, her on side of her body is clean too. So we go down to pick up the arrow, and it's pretty obvious it was a clean miss.
So, when I drew my bow back, my beam sight was completely sideways. So, I tried to peek around to the side. But I didn't think about how changing up or down would change the sight level. Awesome. I'm like shivering with adrenaline. I can't stop shivering.
You can see the tracks where she took off.
That's only the second time I've ever taken a shot on an elk in my entire life.
I'm shivering big too.
Probably shouldn't touch that broadhead right now.
Yeah. I'm shivering a little bit too. I had to pop the camera off the mount to swing it over because they came around that far side.
I'm really sorry I missed. I'm really sorry.
So Ryan was up by that big fat pine tree right there. And I was in the green pine tree and he was by the tree.
46.2. Well, that worked.
We found the one source of water and they came.
Do you think they'll come again tomorrow night?
I don't know.
Probably not. Although only one elk knows that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be back at it in the morning. Hopefully chasing bugles again.
Plan is to chase bugles in the morning. See some water in the evening. It's working out so far, I guess.